Hello everybody, it's Jeanette. So today's project, excuse me, still having some cold issues. So anyways, this is kind of a happy accident, if you will. I actually wanted to make a project using the Graphic 45 Dreamland paper. And I had an idea of what I wanted to make, which was a folio, and got it all, planned it out. What did I want it to look like? How did I want it to lay out? And then once I knew the kind of size that I wanted, which is here, what you see here is the size that I wanted. Then I figured out, okay, well then if this is the size I wanted, what size of page inside do I make to fit this? Thought I measured it correctly and everything, made all the pages, put it into my little folio, and boom, it didn't fit. Because it's a ring bind. So I'll just show you one of the happy pages that I made. It's ring bound inside, and I'll show you when we get inside. And it was, when one was in there, which is how I measured it, it was perfectly fine because it laid flat. Everybody was happy. When you put all the pages together, yeah, they're more in the middle instead of sitting at the bottom. And I didn't measure that. So this is a lesson, if you will, that, yeah, sometimes you mess up. And like I said, you can see I had all of these made, very happy with it. This paper is just gorgeous. And it didn't work. So then I was looking at, all right, what do I do? I've created my lovely little box, or the folio, and my pages don't fit. Do I rip it apart? Try to, obviously, I think what I came to is, well, I'll just build another folio for the Dreamland pages. And then it was, okay, what do I do with what I've already made? I thought, well, I'll look and see if I have something that inspires me to make. And I remembered that I had this. This is Dear Jane by Design Cuts with a View. And I'm a huge, huge, huge Jane Austen fan. So, of course, the second I saw the paper, I had to have it. So I thought, oh, perfect. I'll use the folio that I created for that. And actually, it was so inspirational that it came together I think I finished this in a day. Of course, I already had, the folio made. So, all right, so that's enough talk. But it's just to say that when you kind of mess up, don't give up. And don't just, immediately throw it away. You've got a skeleton or something, just look at it and say, okay, is there something else I can use with that, something else I can do to it, especially so I bind with book tape. So what you see here, if I get it any closer, will that help at all? Well, you can kind of see there, it's strips of book tape, and book tape is very expensive. Very expensive, but in comparison to, say, paper, using paper hinges, or, building your book with one sheet of paper, and then just scoring and that kind of thing, it's definitely a lot more expensive. However, what I like about it is that it is so flexible and yet very strong. So once you've got it built, that's a lot of money that went into building. So just throwing that out is just awful. So definitely, whenever I've messed up, I've built the wrong size or whatever, it's like, I can use that for something. So here we go. Enough talk, which I said twice now. So cover, beautiful picture of, I'm going to say it's Elizabeth because Pride and Prejudice is my favorite. I used the brown paper with the crowns for the two sides, and then this wonderful paper on the back. And this is a folio, and I used a rather large amount of magnets in this. So this is held together, these two pages are held together with magnets, so it flips open and then it lays open. And here, I'll stop here, little pocket for a tag, just plain tag. And there's a page within the Dear Jane paper. It's a whole page of all these little foiled medallions. So I just fussy cut out a bunch of those medallions and use those throughout. And then that opens up like that. So starting here, these two medallions say it's a fine lady and a true gentleman, but Elizabeth and Darcy. And here's just a photo mat. This is kind of, for me, what I wanted was sort of a combination scrapbook journal thing. So you'll see a lot of pages or ways to, have pictures, to probably what I'll end up doing is either pasting some different pages, so that I can write, or pictures. Mostly this will eventually be my ode to Jane Austen, because I just love her and I collect a lot of Jane Austen stuff, so this will hold that stuff. So as you can see, as I haven't done anything to this side, I haven't quite decided. I had thought that I was done when I had everything done, and I added this pocket here, so it may evolve. But I just love this paper so much that I haven't decided if I want to put another pocket here going this way. So for right now, it's just see the pretty pictures. And this is, I don't think this was Ideology. I think it was just a generic brand that I found on Amazon. But you can get these wonderful little ring that go in using brads. Simple dimple, punch your hole, stick the brad through, brad, voila. All right, so first page. And again, like I said, magnets, magnets, magnets. So this is held together with a magnet and flips open and open. And this is kind of like a little junk journal I made. A bunch of paper that I had in my stash. This was, I think this is avocado dyed paper. I don't know how well that's coming out. It's so hard to see on my monitor. Avocado paper from my friend Angelica. And then just some other paper that I had in my stash. And then the leftover bits from making the journal. And actually this is from the cover of the paper pad. I like to cut up the covers. And so some of those I haven't done too much inside in terms of like decorating or putting anything in. I have put pocket in a few places. I put some just little bits for pretties, because this is really going to be a jot journal, this thing here, just for jotting notes. I'm a big note taker. Note, not journal. I tend not to journal, but I do tend to note. So, cute little journal. Pretty paper. I just love all the foil that's in this paper. Okay, and then it goes, and just copied the paper here again for the back. And again, like I said, big note taker, so I wanted lots of little pads of paper. So here, and this is just some twine. These come out, and they're just little pads of paper. And I did it this way with the tie so that I can, make notes or do whatever I want. And then when that is filled, I can untie it. I can slide it into one of the pockets and then put in some more paper. And it slides back in. There's a magnet right here. And then what I did was put a magnet on the top, so not underneath. So you could have put, magnet here, but I wanted it to really push them all down. And so you kind of have to get it right in the right spot, but it holds it down nicely. And when you work with magnets and you're putting layers of paper, before you glue anything down, try it. So put, you're like here, I'm going to have several layers of paper. Put all the layers of paper in place and try it out. Make sure it's going to hold. because you don't want to get all those magnets in place, put in your paper, and then go, "Ah, it's not sticking." So plan. Here's that gorgeous image again, and then just some more. There's another page in the paper that has, I don't know if they actually think it's journal cards. It looks like journal cards, so I just cut them apart. Had to do some weird trimming to make it a little more normal, but and then just some more of the paper. This is actually the inside of one of the medallions, so I just took the gold part off and kept the inside of the medallion. And again, this piece is held with a magnet in it. Since I knew I would be putting things in the pocket, again, I picked what could be the thickest of what I would put in the pocket, because this is, it doesn't have, oh boy, word is not coming to my mind, but it's just glued straight down to the page. So there's not a lot of room, you know, for putting a lot of things. So I thought, what's the thickest that I could put in there, put that in place, put the magnets in, so that I knew it would still go through. So, pro tip. And the backs of these I kept flat because everything, you know, it's kind of bulky, so that they would lay flat with the next page. So I'm not planning on putting pictures or anything. If I do something to these, it'll just be writing. That way I know that they will always lay flat against the top of whatever the next page is. So here is another medallion, great quote from one of the books. This flips out. And again, there's a magnet here holding that in place. Flips out and then flips out again. And again, another magnet there. And then this is a pocket for another journal card, and I just made another mat with one of the medallions. And these stripes here on the side is actually the full sheet of 12 by, so it's a 12 by 12 pad. It looks like a big mat. So it's a square, like a doily, square doily on 12 by 12 paper, which when you're, you know, creating something like this, having, you know, a big image like that is not terribly useful. So I just trimmed off the two sides, took out the middle part, if you will. So these are just two of the sides, and it made nice little borders on each side. So, and this again, this kind of illustrates the point. So this 12 by 12 was a big frame. But I decided it didn't look too bad, just taking the corner. I took the corner that had the little rows. So it can be difficult working with 12 by 12 paper when you're shrinking it down to the size, but look for areas on the paper where you can just take a piece of it and it still looks nice. Or, you know, definitely think about that when you're buying your 12 by 12 pads of paper. Am I going to use this in a shrink down version? Therefore, these great big images, because there's a picture on one of these that it is these huge bird cages. Every time I tried to figure out how to use just a piece of it, it was ridiculous because you can tell what it was. So think about that when if you're getting 12 by 12 to use in these small sizes. These are just mats and just little pockets for some mats to write notes or put in pictures. And again, this is, you know, big 12 by 12, but again, pick the corner and it fit just perfectly, and you can still tell the image and what was going on. So you can hear a little medallion, another little journal tag thing. This flips up, and there's nothing here. It's just this. I do it like that, so I don't have to squish it all the way down there. Just plain. Another one of the journal cards in here. And again, this is held with a magnet. And I do that because when I'm going like this, I don't like these to like flip open, and then you're doing that. So the magnets nicely hold it in place. You can also use little swing tabs with a brad. Those work nicely too. And inside here, there was one page that had a bunch of spines of books. Those were, again, for this size, difficult to work with because I would either get the top of the book, and it was kind of hard to tell that you were looking at a book. But this one worked really nicely. So, and just another one of the journal cards, and another little card there, and another tag here, one of the medallions. again, that magnet's in place. And this is the same as what's on the back of the folio. And then this was big sheet and is up in one of the corners, and I messed this up. So I wanted to put, so these were all on one page. And I was thinking, oh, I'll use this side of the page to mat on the back of here, and I'll use this for the back of here. Well, I cut this one, and it left this, but I had already cut a bit. Long story short, I ended up with just this little piece. Again, you know, you plan things out and then, yeah, actually follow your plan, or, you know, think it through maybe twice before just, oh yeah, and just cut. So if you really want something in a very specific place, either note it down so you don't mess up when you finally go to cut. Because sometimes what I do is mark a whole bunch of papers. You know, I'm making, like when I was planning out this, and this, so that it would be a nice cohesive spread, I marked all the papers and then brought out the trimmer. And then that was my problem, is because then when I went and looked at the lines, I did this line before that line, which meant that I had already chopped off the piece that I needed. So yeah, that was fun. Very annoying, but it worked. So instead of having the full page be this image with, or this saying with, I forget what was underneath this. Instead, well, it ended up on the pocket and this ended up on the back. It works, right? So happy accidents. Sort of like the whole folio in and of itself. And again, that's just a photo mat and another the little tags. And all of these photo mats, the tags, those are the things I did last. It's all of the bits that when, you know, you cut this off, well, here, for instance, I cut this and cut that. Well, nicely, but from cutting, when I cut this way and then I cut that way, boom, I had this. So, and that just made a nice little tag. So again, if you plan out your cuts, you can have bits that are nice to use throughout whatever it is that you're making. So that is my folio. Quick little share. And again, happy accident. I had no intention of, I had this paper forever and really didn't know what it was that I was going to do with it. And when that happened and noticed that it was the wrong size, there we are. So won't show you the rest of these, but, you know, little taste preview, because I am going to build another folio for these. It will probably look exactly the same. I'm not being terribly imaginative, although I am pretty proud of myself. I mean, I designed these by myself. This wasn't a tutorial. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked the folio. If you want to know anything about it, how I made certain pieces, just let me know. I can do a tutorial, or just send you an email telling you how to do what the different pieces that I did. Just let me know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.